So before we start, what I was asking before, is it Xavier or Xavier?
It's so when I tell people my name and they ask me for the first time, I say Xavier because I want them to visualize the X.
Okay.
If I say Xavier, they think it's a Z. Right?
Alright.
In Australia, we say Xavier.
Yeah.
Right? The phonetic is Xavier.
Right.
But so I say Xavier when I meet people.
Yep.
They know what it sounds like. They know what it looks like. And then later on, I just
So that's interesting right off the bat. That's tied to what? NLP? That's tied to someone seeing something in their mind and linking it back to the verbalization of it.
I realized a long time ago that remembering names is the most important thing, right?
Yep.
Dale Carnegie said it in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yep.
The most beautiful thing to a person is the sound of their own name.
Yeah.
Right? So I practiced learning names. What I also want to do is make it easy for other people to remember my name.
Yeah.
Because people always say things like, oh, I'm really bad at remembering names. And I'm like, well, first step, stop saying that.
Yep.
You know, that's
Yeah.
first
Well, that's
step.
interesting. Yeah.
But second of all, if I can get them to visualize my name, then they'll see it in their head.
So that's slowing down communication for you to see something clearly in your mind and transmit it to the other person. So if I sit down and I go, like, simple as saying like, oh, Omar, right? And so what you're trying to do there is if you anchor one letter in their subconscious, the rest will follow through.
Yeah, they can start off with something, right?
Okay.
Xavier.
Yep.
Now you've seen it. Like I'll tell people, oh, my name is Xavier.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, Javier. I'm like, well, where did you get the H
You look
from?
like a Javier.
I do look like a Javier.
The
Maybe that's
slickness,
why they
look
say
at the
it. You know?
slickness. But anyway, so people understand this. Like it's important that we do this because, so Xavier, so you have been on stages around the world. And what I mean about stages around the world, you're a mentalist. In simple terms, you can hop on a stage and you can get somebody to quack like a chicken, all the way through to making a life-changing move in their life.
Yeah.
Right? That's the spectrum that you work with.
Yeah. Mentalism is the concept of understanding human behavior in a way that you can produce things that look like mind reading.
Yeah.
Right? So it's an illusion of mind reading.
When you say look like mind reading, what do you mean? Is it a trick? Is that what it is?
So
Because a lot of people think salespeople, what they're doing is they're just tricking people.
okay, yeah,
So
it's easy to call it that.
Are you saying that's what salespeople are doing?
Yeah, I'm saying that the word manipulation is an ugly word for most people, and yet manipulation is what we're doing all the time to each other, all day, every day.
Yeah.
If I'm to look at the youngest form of human life, which is a baby cries, the mother comes and feeds it. So the baby manipulated its mother to feed it. Manipulation is not negative. Manipulation is just creating a space for someone to do something, right? Now, if I can manipulate someone to think of a word, right, and I can influence them. So we call it influence. It's the same thing. You know, why is manipulation ugly and influence is not? Influence is what salespeople are calling it.
Yeah.
It's also manipulation.
Yeah.
You're manipulating conversation. You're manipulating language. You're manipulating beliefs so that people can want what you've got.
So what you're saying then is the intention behind the manipulation what matters.
Absolutely. Everyone's manipulating.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing it.
Okay.
Right? Your partner comes in and says, oh, you never do this. Okay, sure. That's a way of manipulating me to feel bad to do something that I didn't do.
That's so interesting. So even like in a negotiation, I've said this to our team many times, if somebody's stepping in, what is the fundamental intent behind the person? They want to buy the property for the lowest possible price. You're setting up a structure to ascertain the maximum price. So everything that person is saying, if they're switched on in that negotiation, is designed one way or the other to cause you to bend or change to where they want this to go.
That's right.
Correct?
And the best salespeople have an outcome in mind.
Yes.
If you have an outcome in mind and you're trying to steer a conversation to get to that outcome, it's manipulation.
Yep.
But people just don't like that word. I use it. I don't mind the word. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a word.
But don't you think words mean everything? Like words have power behind them. So if you use the word manipulation, you're instantly putting a negative connotation in my mind, one way or the other.
So that's not me doing that. That's your idea of manipulation.
But shouldn't you know my idea of being a mentalist, what I'd be thinking that word manipulation does to my mind?
That's right. So I won't use manipulation. I won't say to my audience, I'm manipulating you.
Yep.
But at some point in my act, or when I'm in a conversation like this, I'll bring up the word manipulation and I'll explain how the word manipulation isn't a bad word.
Yep.
So then you'll leave here not thinking it's a negative word anymore. So I can change people's minds one at a time or on stage hundreds at a time.
When you say change people's minds,
Yep.
you've got to know what they're thinking before you can change it.
I don't. What I need to do is if I want to change the mindset of somebody, right, first I have to have them listening to me intently.
Right.
Right. If you're listening to me closely and you're listening to me carefully, then the things that I say will have more impact on you.
But when you say first you have to have them listening to you intently and closely, that's a step in itself. How do you get to the step where they're listening to you closely and intently?
Okay. Just like that.
Pause.
Pause is very important. If I can take the silence of the room and own it, if I can create the silence, your mind, if there was noise and now there's none, your mind is waiting for an instruction. See, people don't realize that we're all looking for external reference of authority somewhere, right? Once upon a time, people used to hear it as the voice of God, you know, and then as we moved into the world where we're distracted by everything, we don't have an internal dialogue anymore. Our internal dialogue, which may have been God, may have been just internal dialogue, is we don't listen to it. We're looking outside of us for answers, for ideas, for direction. And so the authority is the person in the room that can take a moment and give clear direction. And if you can give clear direction in a moment, people will follow along.
So let's give an example of that. You're on the stage.
Yep.
You've got an audience. I've seen this actually happen when I go to events, and sometimes I've seen really, really average people do this and it doesn't work, right? Comedians will get up on stage or something to that effect.
Yep.
You got this big audience, you're on stage, they're all having a laugh, they're distracted. You want to get their attention. What do you do?
I want to get their attention. I'm on the stage already.
Yeah, you're on the stage. Pausing's not going to work because
It has worked.
oh, but you would have someone would have to announce you're on the stage. So if you stand on stage, you got a microphone in your hand, and you've got everybody murmuring, chattering. What do you do to get their attention? How do you start that off?
So when I first get onto a stage, I make sure that the audience follow my instructions minimum of 3 times before I even begin my act. And it looks like this.
I love that.
Yeah. I start getting compliance from them, right?
How?
This is it. So you've introduced me. Welcome to the stage, Xavier Crow. I come out onto the stage. I'll say into the microphone. I've got a headset. Into the microphone. Keep the clap going for Omar. Now they're clapping more.
Yep.
Good. Keep the clap going for me.
Yep.
Now they're clapping. And keep the clap going for the guy in the back. He's too lazy to clap. Keep it going for him. I can see you. And now everyone's laughing and clapping. They've clapped. They're laughing. And I haven't done anything yet.
And they're aware that if you're not clapping, you're going to see them.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's all subtle.
Yeah.
And so at this point, I've gotten on stage before I've even begun my act. I've come out and I've told them, do this, do it again, and do it for this thing. And now we're laughing. And I said, okay, my name's Xavier Crow. And then I'll move into something like, tell me, hands up, who has seen a mentalism show before? Who's had their mind read?
And you literally raising your hand.
And getting them to do the same as me.
Yeah.
And so what I'm doing is now I'm getting them to comply. Now you put your hand up. Okay. And anyone else who hasn't seen a mentalist, put their hand up. So they put their hand up. And I said, and all the rest of you who don't give a shit, put your hand up. Right?
But see
and
how
now they're laughing again. It's the same thing. 3 things and a laugh.
Yeah. So it's simple language, but you see how you're doing this is because I've seen people describe this sort of stuff before, right? In relation to mirroring. Yeah.
Yep.
But see how you're doing that. You're actually doing it naturally, correct? How does somebody out there who's sitting, because I've seen people being taught this, and then suddenly they're sitting face to face with somebody, and you're sitting like that now, and I'm literally trying to do this, right? And then they say, well, I've tried the mirroring thing, and it's just not working. I'm not getting the person's attention.
That's the problem already.
Okay.
This thing that, okay, if I am matching you and mirroring you in order to do something, to manipulate you, and that's my intention, my unconscious signals will telegraph that intention to you, and you'll feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If I can learn to connect with you, get over on your side of the table.
How do you do that? There's people listening out there right now. You're a natural. You get on stage. You've got thousands of people. I've seen you do it. It's unbelievable. We'll talk about that a bit more in a second. But there's people out there. How do you do it? I have people reaching out to me, and they'll say to me, hey, Omar, I tried this, it worked, or I tried this and it didn't. And I feel like the intention behind it is wrong, which means the empathy is wrong, which means the connection's weak.
Yep.
How do you do it?
Okay, I listen as clearly as possible. When you're speaking, whether or not I was in the middle of something, whether you've started your conversation, spontaneously or not, as soon as your mouth is open, my mind is off. Because if I'm thinking while you're speaking, I can't actually fully grasp what you're saying. Now, what happens in that situation? If you feel deeply listened to, you're going to open up to me, because people very rarely are deeply listened to, right? So I don't try to take anything from you in an interaction. My aim in every interaction is to add value to a life. If I'm speaking now, I'm speaking things that are going to bring something to the table. If I'm listening for the gold in your conversation. What are you about to say that's going to change my life? And by giving this open space for listening, I'm allowing you to open up further and further. If I listen to you carefully, very carefully, and I don't interrupt you, and I don't try to say what's on my mind or interrupt, you will leave this conversation thinking, wow, Xavier is such a good conversationalist. And I could have that whole conversation by saying nothing.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
You see it happen all the time. You see it. But there's a line between sitting there and listening and actively listening to be able to demonstrate to the other person that there's an understanding.
Yep.
And I feel like when people start saying, yep, I understand you, and they shake their and they nod their head, like somebody said to me, you know, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth, use it in that proportion. I don't know if I agree with that. I think your mouth or your ears are both needed to communicate one way or the other. So if I'm talking to you right now, but I'm talking about you, and I'm talking about, you know, Xavier, you went overseas, you would have missed home, you've been on stage, you've done so many remarkable things, you know, you must have come across. If I'm describing your situation, I'm really listening because I can't, if someone says this guy is a good talker, they're not necessarily saying he talks too much. You can't be a good talker if you're not a good listener, because I could sit here and talk about absolute nonsense. You wouldn't say I'm a good talker.
Right.
So at some point, is it just listening? What is it? You just hop on stage and just listen to people?
No, but I am listening to my audience in a way that goes beyond the sound of the sound that they're making. I'm listening. So body language is a huge part of what I do, right? And reading nonverbal cues, right? What are people saying when they're not speaking at all? Right? And an audience acts as a complete mechanism all at once, right? They're one body. I can sense in an audience when there's unrest. Like, let's say I hear a little bit of chatter. Okay, cool. But I can also see that in the way that they fidget, the way they start turning their bodies. Maybe they're looking at their watches. This is all body language that I'm reading. So I'm listening with my eyes, not only my ears. I've got 2 of those as well, right? Now, if I see that the audience I'm losing the audience for whatever reason, maybe the show's gone for too long, I'm not going to keep going with my show. I'm going to come to the finale sooner. Or I'll say, okay, let's try this. Everybody, drop everything out of your hands and put both your hands in front of you. Right, now hold your hands like this. And I start to do that commanding stuff again. I start to bring them, telling them what to do, following my instructions. And now that they're back with me, pay off with something amazing or a laugh, and I've got them again for another 5-10 minutes.
Yep. Okay.
Right? But I'm not just running through my show like a script. A lot of entertainers. I've been to a show recently. I'm not going to say who it was, and he started his show and ended his show, and he was scripted the whole way through. Not a problem, but it was like a theater performance, right? And so when he had invited guests onto the stage, or when he was having conversations with the audience, there was some things that he could have done differently based on what the audience member was doing. And I saw the show twice, so I can see he didn't change anything to match the audience.
But why did you see the show twice then if the first one was no good?
I had bought tickets to see the show, and then I got offered free tickets, so I went first.
Because I was going to say, did he put something in your mind?
No.
Suddenly you turned it.
No, I wanted to see the show.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine offered free tickets to the show, and I said yes. And I went with a buddy who's also a mentalist. So I went to watch the show twice. The first time to assume amazement. The second time to really dissect it with my mind.
To find out what he's doing.
That's right.
Okay, so you're when you're on stage, just like and I always got to take it back to the audience that's watching this. So effectively, if you're sitting on stage and you're having a conversation, it's almost like likened to somebody being on stage doing a presentation or a listing presentation to somebody's home. You got to determine, is there agreement? Is there compliance? Are they understanding what you're saying? Are you pausing at the right time? Are you really listening and then describing where they're at? Do you have to do what you describe as a pattern break to interrupt what's going on?
If you notice that the people are losing interest, break the pattern. If I'm talking to you and I can see that you're looking away or you're looking down to your watch, or I can see visually there's cues that show me that you're not listening, I don't get upset with you. I'll take responsibility. Radical responsibility in life is the only way forward. Right? If something's not working in my favor, I'll see where I can change to make it work in my favor. I won't make you change for me. So if you're not listening to me and I'm talking, well, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm talking shit. Maybe I've got to change it. Maybe I've got to ask a question. That's a good pattern break. What do you think?
Got it.
Then sit back and listen.
Yes.
Now I'm listening. See, the thing is this. People that talk because they're good at talking, and I used to be that guy, right? I've practiced past this. I used to talk because I was good at talking, but I didn't have anything valuable to say, and I wasn't listening. So when I was talking, I was missing the point. Now when I listen so carefully that I know what I'm going to say is going to be fine because I've heard everything you've said. I wasn't waiting to calculate what I'm going to say next. I wasn't getting in my own head. I'm taking everything you say in, and I just start speaking after that. So if I notice that you're not listening, I thought, well, maybe I've gone off topic. I was like, tell me, what are your thoughts about this so far? And then I listen again. I was like, there's some new information. I'll talk about that next.
Yeah.
Because now that's the information you want to hear.
Yeah.
It's not about me.
Yeah.
You know?
So you're pausing in between and you're acknowledging, and then you're constantly on.
Checking
but
in.
Having that mindset then, so are you saying that's a major part of mentalism and being able to influence?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as a magician, when I was doing magic shows, I did that for the most part of my life, to 10, 15 years, before I transitioned to hypnosis, then mentalism, right? And I still use
Tell me hypnosis and mentalism. And if I interrupt you, it's only because if there's a pertinent point that you're touching on that I think will resonate with the people listening, because I want people to listen to this, whether they're in a relationship, because I know how much value you can give in a relationship, whether they're an agent wanting to get from here to here, whatever it may be. I believe it's just belief, right? And we'll talk about that in a second. But tell me about that. Like, tell me when you're in that situation, like, how are you viewing it? Like, where are you coming from?
What are you referring to?
Like when you're talking about when you're zoning in on what were you saying before? You're talking about zoning in on something.
I was talking about my transition from magic to mentalism.
Yeah. Sorry, mentalism, hypnotism.
Yes.
When you're looking at those two things, they sound like they're in the same.
They're in the same category.
But how are they different?
Well, okay. So hypnosis is essentially creating a space for someone to accept a suggestion, right? Creating a space where their belief is so strong that it implements a change in them, right? It could be for fun, for entertainment, or it could be for transformation, right? So I've done hypnosis. I studied hypnotherapy for quite some time because I wanted to help people.
Yep.
Right? I opened up my own hypnotherapy practice in New Zealand. Yeah, I was bored of doing magic, so I opened up a practice and I started helping people stop smoking. Right?
Did it work?
Absolutely. Yeah, I had a massive success rate.
Really?
Yeah, but I got bored. I got bored sitting one-on-one, just having conversations with people with their eyes closed.
How would you stop them from smoking?
How would I stop them?
Yeah.
With hypnosis?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first step, and this is something that I started doing, I'd have a phone call with them first, right? Everything I did was hypnotic.
Mm-hmm.
The phone call was, we'll do a 30-minute free phone consultation to decide whether or not you'll be a participant in this hypnosis, right? So I don't say, anyone can come in. I make it almost exclusive. Like, hey, if we can't work together, you got to keep smoking. Now all of a sudden, they feel almost a pressure to stop or pressure to be good enough.
But don't you think, Xavier, and like whatever I say, I'm just basically referring to what I believe people are thinking out there, right? Mm-hmm. Don't you think somebody picking up the phone, if you say that and they pick up the phone, they want to stop, they've already stopped? Is there a difference between someone wanting to stop and you hypnotizing them to go the whole way and somebody who doesn't want to stop at all?
So then I'll continue then.
Yeah, I'm so curious with that.
Yeah, the hypnosis is a really fascinating one, right? My aim was to get them to be so close to stopping smoking before I even did the session that the session was essentially just a performance. You know, I just wanted them to have a moment where it happened, because a lot of people think that hypnosis is a magic button. I hypnotize you, you stop smoking. No. It's a two-way street. If I tell you to take a deep breath and you hold your breath and you don't take a deep breath, I can't hypnotize you. You're not following my instructions. You have to follow my instructions. Starts with the phone.
But can't you hypnotize me to follow your instructions?
I can't hypnotize a non-willing participant.
Okay, so that's what I'm trying to get at.
That's right. So my job is to make them as willing as possible to quit. And I'll go through it. You can interject if you like, but let me go through it.
Yeah, I'm actually, my curiosity is interjecting.
I understand that. I can see that. So the phone call is first. On the phone call, I make them almost convince me that they're ready to stop. My questions are, so how long have you smoked? Okay, so what would happen if you kept smoking? It's a weird question. What would happen if you kept smoking? How long do you want to smoke for? Do you want to smoke for the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Like, these are weird questions. But I get them thinking something they've never thought before is like, holy shit, I could be smoking for another 20 years. And I guess, so what would it be like if you did smoke for another 20 years? Now they're thinking, holy shit, that would be, getting to admit how terrible it would be without saying, hey, it's terrible to keep smoking. I was a smoker for 15 years. I know what it's like. It sucks. You know, it sucks to feel like you can't stop something. So on the phone, I'm asking them these questions to then get them to convince me that they're the right fit for my program. Now they're convincing themselves that they're ready to stop. All right, so I've flipped the switch. I'm not convincing them, hey, you should come to me to stop smoking because I'm the best.
So would that be likened to me sitting in an appointment and saying to somebody, Xavier, I know you want to sell your house. I know you've got me here to maximize the outcome, but have you considered renting it? What would happen if you kept it? Have you considered renting it? Have you considered maybe keeping the home?
Yep.
That's an unbiased statement and also the right intention question.
Absolutely.
Which gets the person to actually think it back into that direction and brings me closer to them.
Yeah.
So is that effectively kind of what you're doing?
Absolutely. I think that's a great example.
Yeah.
You know, I could say to you, why don't you just stay in the home that you're in? And then they'll come up with reasons why they shouldn't.
Or they should.
Or they should.
You might convince them that they shouldn't be selling, in which case you've got a character trust there.
But you got to remember, what you think is good for them is irrelevant.
Yes, love that.
What they think is good for them is best for them.
Yep.
If you, and I'll liken this to something that I've done for someone recently, right? I had a friend asking me, should I do this or should I do this? I said, let's flip a coin. Are you cool with that? They said, yeah. I said, okay, heads, you do this. Tails, you do this. I flipped the coin and I grabbed it out of the air and I put it in my pocket. I said, which one came into your mind when I flipped it? They said heads. I'm like, okay, you really want to do that?
I love that. That's cool.
Yeah.
I
Don't worry
love
about
that.
the coin toss.
I feel like getting like 10 people in right now and doing that. I love that, man.
It's amazing because your unconscious mind knows the answer you want.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So you pick it up and you can do it on yourself. You can say, I've got a decision to make.
Yep.
Right? You flip the coin. Heads, I'm going to do this. Tails, I'm going to do this. You grab it, you put it there, and you say to yourself,
instantly you'll already know which one you want it to be.
yes, and that's the answer.
Yeah, it'll be very subtle.
That's
it'll
so
be
good.
like, I wish it's heads. And you're like, whoa, I didn't realize I actually want this.
So somebody who's a little bit confused, somebody who doesn't have unshakable belief of the future of what's happening probably is going to need that. Somebody who's got unshakable belief probably doesn't because the answer's already there. But that is a good starting point for somebody who's a bit indecisive.
Yeah, I mean, indecision is really common,
Yeah.
right? I learned to be more decisive more quickly because I learned this. A successful person makes decisions quickly and changes their mind slowly. An unsuccessful person takes a long time to make a decision and changes their mind quickly. You know, you got to trust yourself. You got to trust yourself. Not only that, a successful person makes a decision quickly because they also take radical responsibility. Come back to that again. If they make the wrong decision, they take it on. I screwed up. I'll make a new choice.
Yeah.
But they're not going to sit there and go over every possible example.
It's funny you say that because I was having that conversation yesterday with a few people. You see some of the greatest performers out there, the dwelling period. So I see this structure from people who have complete unshakable belief of what comes next. If something goes, let's say something doesn't happen right here, and somebody says to them, hey, look, you could have done better. That person straight away says, yeah, tell me how. I want to move forward, right? And they don't dwell, they move on pretty quickly.
Go for it.
But the person who can't see clearly, what I find they tend to do is, and correct me if I'm wrong from your perspective, but essentially what they do is something doesn't happen here, and they sit there and they go, no, I'm not going to take that advice. They start arguing against the advice, and then they get angry, and then they get sad, and then they come out of the other end going, actually, that could be right, and then they reset, and the time period between the stimulus and the response is astronomical.
Right.
Do you see that often?
Yeah.
For people who don't believe in what their future is going to be.
Yeah. I mean, if you want something to happen, you have to first believe it can.
Yep.
Right? Now, I said this when I was in a different conversation not long ago. If I want people to change, I don't say you will change. You know, I mean, I might say that, but I won't say you will change or, you know, tell them that they should be positive about it.
Yes.
I just try to show them that it's a possibility, that they can change, right? I say, hey, they say to me, this is my problem. I'm always terrified of speaking to girls. Let's use that as a random example. I'm always terrified of speaking to girls. I'm like, okay, that's your current belief. Do you have an example in your life where you've spoken to a girl and you weren't terrified? Yeah. So it's possible. Now the possibility is created. If it's possible once, it's possible again. But the moment they tell me the belief, it's never possible.
So you're trying to anchor a belief that goes against their current belief.
Yes,
that shatters it.
Yes, a belief is fluid, right? They are ingrained, but they're fluid. And when I say fluid, I mean they can be changed.
Can we separate something here, because I feel like it's important, because I feel like we can go from total agreements here to total disagreements. And at the end of the day, I'm going to say what I think, and I want to see what you think.
Yeah, I don't need to agree with you.
Yeah, that's great, because I want to have a proper conversation. Okay, right. So for me, I don't agree with saying to somebody, hey, have you ever this or have you ever that? Like for me, if somebody turns around and says, there's a girl and I'm not sure about it and I've got blah, 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 instead of cracking into their past, and I've done it with juniors, not with girls, but with, get them performing at a better level, is to draw an absolute clear vision of the future in that moment, of what the future looks like when they're brilliant. So every weekend I go out, I meet girls, they love me, I love them, I approach them with confidence, everything's great. So it's not only an affirmation, but it's an absolute clear picture, because for me, what they're seeing in their head is something negative. If I can change that with something super positive without talking about the past and go into straight, simple nature, that's what you are, and I can change your identity on the spot, then the next action, it precedes the belief and or follows the belief.
Got it.
And so from my perspective, I've never understood why people do that. Why go back and try and I get what you've said, where you're trying to say effectively, I want to get them to positively affirm the past of where they've done it. It's kind of the same thing, because you're not going into something that went wrong. You're going to something that went right.
Yeah.
Yeah? So are we doing the same thing there? What is it?
We're both are correct.
Okay.
All right. So there's a difference between Freudian psychology and Jungian psychology, right? Freud was like, go back and think of the past and look at all the problems in the past and talk them over and over and over again until they disappear. Jung was like, hey, it's gone. Let's add the future and see what goes. I actually prefer that one, by the way. Yeah. I actually agree with what you
I feel like your one was both.
It kind of, yes. So one thing I've learned is this, and every scenario is going to be different. When I'm creating a change in somebody, first I have to listen to where they are.
Yes.
If they're the sort of person that can visualize, imagine, and create belief, I will start by pushing them all the way to the future and saying, look how good that looks. Let's bring it to the present, cover ourselves with it. Let's visualize feeling it right now.
Yes.
Or create an image of yourself. Now close your eyes and step forward into that.
But isn't that what you do when you're on stage?
That's
right. How would you get me to behave like a chicken if I couldn't see the future of myself behaving like a chicken? Isn't that what you're suggesting in the future?
Yeah. So I'll finish that. We'll come back to that.
This is just going to be too interesting for me.
Yeah. This we should have another conversation later, another time as well. So depending on the person in front of me, if I see a person, they're really stuck on a belief, right? In fact, some people are so stuck on the belief, they cannot see a future possibility. No matter how much I help them to build up that future possibility, that belief will stop them actively doing that future thing. So you might come across people that are really stuck in their belief.
Yep.
They can't do that future thing. If they do it with you, they'll leave here and then their old belief will come and take over again. So one thing to do, depending on the person, is if this person seems very stuck in their belief, they use language that says, I always, I've never, I could never, this always happens to me. I'm listening for that language. If I hear that language, I don't go, hey, let's create a future where it's possible, because they're going to think, oh yeah, but it's not possible because I always, because I never, because, and the back of their mind, it may, if I can't get them to visualize with me forward, it will override that, because that belief has been around longer than the new one.
There was a doctor that I read about in a book, and he said, it's interesting you said that, because he said, down to, people use an affirmation saying, I am great, right? Or I am wealthy. And this doctor, Dr. Murphy, his name was, he does subconscious, I don't know what he does. I just read the book. I didn't look too much into the author, but I liked what he said, right? And what he basically said is if you say I am wealthy, the mind rejects the word I am because it doesn't believe it.
Because you're not wealthy.
But if you use the word wealthy alone, the mind has no resistance to it because it's not tied to anything.
Fascinating.
So if you say wealthy, healthy, wealthy, healthy, wealthy, healthy,
Solid.
wealthy, healthy,
I
wealthy,
like
healthy, it gets into the subconscious without any obstruction from the subconscious.
Yeah. So I use one that looks more like, I'll give that a shot. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I use one that looks more like, instead of I am wealthy, I know that my brain's going to reject it if I'm not wealthy, right? I create wealth. I am creating wealth daily. I am becoming wealthy.
Yeah.
It's something that the brain, I can't reject a becoming because I don't know what's coming. So I could become it if I'm not it today.
Yeah.
Or it can't say I am healthy, I am
But
healthy.
you're thinking the same thing, right?
It's the same thing.
Like down to the word.
Words are...
Your mind's either rejecting or accepting.
That's right. So if I say to someone, if I'm instructing someone, I coach once a week. I was coaching today, right?
Yeah.
I can't say to someone who feels bad about something, "No, it's okay, man. You're awesome." He doesn't believe it yet. But I can point out something that he just said. I said, that thing that you said was awesome. He can't reject that.
No, I love that.
It really was.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that really was awesome. Like, you know what? And you did that unconsciously. Imagine what else you can do unconsciously. That's awesome.
Yes.
It's a weird thing to say. Imagine what else I can do unconsciously.
Yeah, you're kind of doing the same thing. You're looking for, it's a lot of work because you're looking for.
I don't turn this off.
You're looking for what word, and it's brilliant. I love it. You're looking for what word is deliberately going to get in there. So with us, like if we're dealing with an agent, I might say to the agent, 4. So at the start, I might say you're going to do 4 a month, yeah. But and then I just keep sending them messages saying 4. And the number 4 is ingrained in their mind. Subconsciously, they're already aware that means 4 listed, 4 sold, or 4 maximum outcomes. And so we keep the messaging absolutely simple. And like I've learned, anything that I attach to it can change it, can change what the perception is. So, you know, I'm a great agent, I do 4 deals. I'm not a great agent, I don't do 4 deals. Or 4. It gets into their subconscious, and then the action follows the belief.
That's right.
And it sounds like that's what you're doing, but you're focusing specifically on words. So is that what you're doing when you get somebody? Actually, one other question about this. You got even down to say a coach. A coach is looking after a soccer team. How does that coach get his team into the thinking that on Saturday we've already won? How would you do it?
If I was the coach and I had a soccer team,
Football team, anything.
Football team or something like that, I would sit them all down and I'd say, we're going to play a game. Right? We're going to play a future game. Everyone take a deep breath, close your eyes. All right, I want you to all imagine you're before the game putting on your gear. All right, and you're all there. You start slapping each other on the back. Let's get excited. And I start building up excitement. And I say, imagine running onto the field now. I'll close my eyes and do the same thing because I want to be with them.
Okay.
Right? Always go first.
So you're time traveling.
I'm time traveling.
Yeah.
You know? And then I will create a scenario that is them. Imagine you're passing the ball, you're running, you're moving around tackles. Imagine that you're shooting for goals. Imagine it hitting the back of the net. And I'll put them in that future moment. I'll create that belief story for them. And if I can make that visualization strong and powerful, I'll add things like this. You can feel the grass under your feet. You can smell the sweat on your shirt. You can hear the fans in the audience. You can see the ball going in the back of the net. You can taste, the dryness in your mouth as you push yourself. And I go through all the senses in the visualization. That makes it real to the body. Now, they've just experienced winning a game they haven't won yet. It may not make them win the game, but it's going to give a way better opportunity to win the game because they've already seen it. When they finish the game, they'll probably come back to me and say, that happened exactly like I imagined it the other day.
Got it. Yeah.
I do that for myself.
Yeah, I love that.
I do that before I go on a stage. You know, I still get nervous before I go on stage. I call it excitement, right? I just reprogram my mind to focus on the difference. Before I go on a show, I imagine myself going up onto the stage, holding my hands out and everyone cheering, right? And I imagine myself delivering, people laughing, getting people on stage. I imagine the perfect audience members coming to help me on stage and everything going correctly. And then I'll do my show and it'll work out just like that. And I found a shortcut to that. Where I used to go before a show and imagine all of the cool things that could happen in the show, now what I do, I imagine the end of the show. I sit in the car before I get out and I imagine myself on the stage taking a bow and everyone going wild. What does that mean? I've tricked my brain to forget about all of the show. If they go wild at the end of the show, it means the show was a success.
I love that. So you're actually simplifying and simplifying and simplifying.
Constantly.
So it's like I say to people when they're crossing the road, and if you sit there and you think about the speed of the car, the movement of the vehicle, your speed of how you're running, essentially you're going to complicate crossing the road. But if you say I'm crossing the road and it's done, then even a child can do extremely complex mathematical calculations in their brain to determine when to go and when to come.
Right. It's called starting with the end in mind.
Yes. And then bringing that into your subconscious.
Bringing it in subconscious.
Okay, so you've got let's go back to the coach and let's go back to anybody. Let's say you're a leader out there, you're looking after a team. I see this happen a lot, and it's something I had to learn. And tell me, is there a psychology behind this? What is it? But I see it happening a lot where you see coaches saying something like, too slow, too slow, too slow, too slow.
This is not a good thing to say.
Exactly.
Speed up, speed up, speed up.
That's okay. So I'm not crazy.
No, you're not crazy.
That's what people should be saying, right?
You
can be as aggressive as you want, but of what you want.
We don't. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
We don't realize how powerful our internal monologue is. Right. I wish I had money. Why the hell would I say that? Right. Just think about what you could do with the money.
Yeah. Well, I love that.
Think about what you could do with it.
Think about what you're doing
You
with
sit
the
on
money.
the bed and think about yourself with the new car that you've got. Think about yourself looking in your bank account and saying, well, look how many zeros are behind
So how
that.
would you write that out? How would, for somebody gets out their notes or writes down, what would you write if you had to write down an outcome? How would you write it?
I was like, I would write it as if I'm talking from the future.
Yep.
I'm so happy right now that money is flowing to me so easily.
Yep.
But I'll imagine I'm in the future.
Yep.
I'm so happy and so grateful that I have all the things that I want. You write a letter to yourself from your future to the past.
Yep.
And imagine that you're having read this after 10 years, 5 years, however long you want it to be. But you talk about it in the present tense. I'm happy about it. I'm grateful for it that this has happened.
I love that. And doesn't that put your mind in a position? There's this quote that says out there that says, your test isn't your punishment. In other words, you know, if your belief is to deliver this or end up here, what happens in between is a test to break through to get there, not your punishment. And I think that when something goes wrong, anybody who doesn't have a solid belief of what the future is going to be, they think that their test is their punishment.
That's right. It's this idea that failure is an end when it's actually the beginning.
Yep.
You know, I read a book called Failing Forward many years ago, and I'm glad I did. It's come in handy a lot of times. Another thing is this: a lot of people say you win or you lose. I disagree. You win or you learn.
Yeah.
What is a lose? You're not dead yet. It's not over.
Yeah.
You learn something, do it differently.
But don't you think people get caught up in the present because at some point they stop seeing the future? If you knew for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, you know, I got married, I had kids. You're going to get married, you're going to have kids, it's going to be great. And over here, you're concerned about a relationship that didn't go right. Then essentially at that moment, you've lost belief in that future.
Yeah, if you don't make peace with the past, it'll show up in your future.
But shouldn't you have clarity in the future so it shows up in your future?
But both of them. See, this is the thing. We don't have to disagree here.
Yeah. I don't get that, man.
Yeah. We can both be right at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, so like I said, Freud want to talk about the past. Jung want to talk about the present and going forward, right? And there's two very different mindsets around psychology. I think both are necessary. I don't think you should go back into the past and constantly relive it. But I think it's important to have a quick look, decide what you took from the past that you're currently living into, and let it go.
Okay, so let's play this out then. Let's play this out. And I love having these conversations, yeah, because I can get a good response.
Yeah.
Let's play this out. You got a soccer team. I say soccer because I played soccer. I've been in that environment, and now this team is like soccer to me. Like I have halftime talks, and I have I call it like it's like final game talks.
Do you give them oranges?
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much right. I like to relive the past in a good way, right?
Yeah, solid.
No, but essentially what I'm saying is, you're about to speak to your team before they go out to the sales field or before they go out to the soccer field, and you got a message, and that message can only last 1 minute. And to get the greatest outcome of that game, I don't believe in that minute, unless I'm wrong.
To go to the past.
You're going to have So if it doesn't apply in that case to get the greatest outcome, then why should it apply in any part of life?
Okay, it's a very good question, right? If you don't want to encourage people in a short period of time to look to the past to get a future result, why would you do it if you had more time with them?
Exactly.
Okay, so there's a difference between motivation and inspiration, right? You can motivate someone, but then you become the source of the motivation. If they can't motivate themselves, they got to keep coming back to you. You can inspire someone, which will give them the opportunity to go forward with their own power. However, regardless of the motivation or the inspiration, it may work that in a minute you can tell your soccer team, you know, this is what we need. You know, you've got this. I've seen you guys perform at your best, and I see it on the field. I saw you do an amazing tackle. Did you remember that? That's what I want you to keep doing. And you can talk about positive things instead of putting it in a negative. Not like, hey, you need to stop being so slow.
You're not going to say that at your best moment.
No. Yeah. But does it create long-term change? That's an interesting conversation to have then. If I want to create long-term change, I've got to figure out why this problem keeps coming back.
Or you need to bring the version of yourself into the future and to the present and shift your identity instantly.
Yeah, so shifting identity is this. Okay, I'll put it like this. If you've got a cup, right, and it's full of something,
yeah,
let's say it's full of dirty water.
Yep.
You've got clean water and you pour it in.
Yep.
It's going to take quite a long time to replace the water, and some of the dirty water might always stay there, right? Because you don't know what's going to leave and what's going to stay. So it gets mixed up in there, right? And if you leave that dirty water might then affect that original clean water. But if I tip out that cup, right, and then pour in the clean water, it's clean from the beginning to the end, and it stays that way. So I see that like belief sets. If I want to put in new beliefs, most powerfully, I must remove the old ones first. I consider it like this. There's a thing that I do called timeline therapy, right? I'll take a person, I'll tell them to close their eyes. I don't ask for context. I don't tell them to, I'm not a psychologist like, tell me about the first time your parents treated you like shit. I don't care about that. I can do therapy without context. I'll say, what's your problem right now? I have a fear of failure. Great. Let's work with that. Think about your fear of failure. Close your eyes, relax. Now I want you to lift up out of your body. Imagine you're high up in the air, fly back all the way into your past. I want you to let your unconscious mind take you to that place where you very first experienced the fear of failure. Even if you don't remember what happened, just let your unconscious tell you, yes, I'm there, right? And I tell you what, when you get there, we're going to cover it with a blanket so you don't even see what it is. Because I don't want them to think about that past. I want them to just get to the first point their unconscious mind made a belief, because it started very long time ago. So cover it in a blanket. Cool. Underneath that blanket, all the way in your past, is the first time you decided you were a failure. All right? What you forgot to do is take the beautiful lessons from that. Take the lessons from like the ability to understand things, the ability to be self-critical in a positive way, the love that was actually given to you by the person who told you.
So you're changing the memory almost.
Changing the memory. Okay, cool. Now, in a moment, we're going to lift up that blanket. What I want you to do, and so in the timeline, I've made it like a path all the way to the past. It's like a dirt path.
Yep.
I said, in a moment, I'm going to hand you a shovel. All right? It's a hypnosis shovel. You're going to dig up that memory and you're going to pop it out of the ground, right? Imagine what it looks like, what shape it is. Is it a stone? Is it a heaviness? Is it a hammer? What is that object? Put your shovel in the ground, pop it up, let it float up into the air and let it explode. Now it explodes in the air. Good. Now I want you to look from that point all the way to the present. Look along that road. And I just want you to go all along that path and just dig out any time that ever happened. So I get them to visualize a belief in an object form, not in a context form. I don't want you to remember, John told me I was an asshole. My teacher said I was a failure. Just go out and pop them out of the ground. So they're using a visualization to get rid of old beliefs and also leave all these holes in this path. And I said, go into the future. Pop out any future moments that it might happen if you don't do anything. Boom, boom, boom. Great. Come back to the present. Now we're going to go back again and we're going to fill all those holes with a seed. The seed is self-confidence. Go and plant a seed in every one of those holes and then cover them all up. Now go back and just water everything. Go to the future, do the same. Come back to the present moment. Open your eyes. How do you feel now? And they'll just look around and you'll see the instant change in that moment. They'll be like, I mean, I don't think I'm fully cured, but the feeling's so much less. It'll happen instantly. You'll see a change in the face. You know, they might have come with this face and then all of a sudden their face is kind of like blank. You know, there's a look on their face. I took away a belief that's going to get in the way of the new one. Because if that's a really deep belief, it's not just in the past, it's dug into the past and it's causing a future. Yeah. So,
but you're also acknowledging, which I guess is empathy in a way, but you're acknowledging a weakness, which doesn't talking about a weakness or a problem.
If you call it a weakness.
Well, it is in their subconscious.
You don't name it.
You're trying to flip it to something else.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I can. I'm trying to understand you. I understand by being critical, man.
Good, man. I love it.
That's how I like. If you see my chat GTP, like I'm going hard against the Quran, yeah, and it's giving me good responses, and we're going back again, and then I'm learning, and then I grab the Bible and I'm doing the same thing, and I'm trying to work out what's going on. So that's how I learn. So I just want you to know that I'm not.
It'll take a lot to offend me.
Yeah. All right. All right. Well, let's go a bit deeper. Then. All right, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go a bit harder.
We're living in a time where it's too easy to offend people. And guess what? If you want to get to the truth, you have to risk offending people.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And by risking offending people means I have to ask tough questions to get to the truth.
Yeah. Right? The intention is not to offend you. The intention is really to say, right, okay, well, I'm going to go back into my past. I'm going to start thinking about X, Y, Z. But then I've had situations where I've had people sitting with me, agents, and I guess this is the line. You can start talking about what's not working. Like, great example. You might have a company that sits down and wants to run through people's listings, yeah?
Okay.
And they haven't sold properties, let's say, for that month. So every month what they'll do is, or week, they'll sit down, they'll bring out their sheet. And then instantly people in the room who know they've had a property on the market for too long or hasn't sold, they're quivering before they sit down. So they're starting off incorrect.
Yeah.
They go through the list and they talk about what's wrong, what can be done, what they have to do. And they're effectively going through the list one by one. And so every time you do that for me, and I just can only use my own industry, right? Every time you do that for me, you are going to take that person and just exasperate what they're not good at. But when we sit down with them, I'll put that list aside. If a house has been on the market 90 days, I'll sit there and I'll say, all right, guys, system process, here's what we're going to do. We're going to shift this, do this. This is what's working great. 14 days in and out, maximum outcome, owner loves you, everything's great. And so I feel they got a better chance of getting out of that meeting and applying a different energy to the owner's conversation than they ever would if I examined what's happened.
There's a part of
That's
examining.
where I'm struggling.
Yeah, I get it. And there is a very fine line here.
Yeah.
Right? So the Freudian psychology is go back and look at the past over and over again. I disagree with that, so that's where we do agree.
Yeah.
Right. I disagree with. When I studied hypnosis, I realized you can very quickly remove an old belief and put a new one in like 20 minutes, 10 minutes sometimes, in a conversation with the eyes open even.
Yeah.
It's possible. So I started getting really kind of annoyed at traditional psychology. It was like, okay, we've spoken for an hour about that problem. Come back next week. And then I meet people that are like, oh, I've been going to a psychologist for 4 years. I said, your psychologist sucks. Why are you still going to them after 4 years? Either they're going to help you or they're never going to help you. Either you feel better, but you still got to keep going back. Have you not gotten over that problem yet? Right? You should be going back for a new thing each time, right?
Yep.
Now, I'm not saying that all psychologists do that. I'm just saying if you got to keep coming back and it just keeps getting prolonged and prolonged, it's because you keep doing what you do with the 90 days thing. You keep talking about it.
Yes.
Right, let's not talk about it too much. If I talk to someone about their past, it's to get a clear understanding of what's holding them back.
It's a guided visit.
It's a guided visit.
Yeah.
Let's go in there for a split second. When I told about the timeline therapy,
Yeah.
I told you it was context free. I don't want to ask specific details about
That's
what
fair enough.
happened.
You did say that. And
Yeah.
and it's impossible for you to speak about something that's negative if you haven't experienced it in that way.
That's right.
Yeah.
But you'll find that a lot of people, and this is person to person, people to people, some people will very easily take on your method, right? They'll be able to visualize and it'll be just enough to get them to just like, you know what, the past is gone, let's go. Other people will do this, they'll get excited, they'll be motivated, not inspired. Those people that are motivated and not inspired, they're motivated only in the moment.
Unless you can put a vision of the future of their life that's so clear that it stays.
Unless they can put a vision of their future that's so clear. We're only helping them facilitate it.
Fair.
They have to do the work.
But there is a way, like if you look at, and again, it's two different ends of the spectrum saying the same thing. Sales and marketing, I liken it to those two things. So, and tell me how this sits with you, but essentially, inspired versus motivation is a good point. So we call it like a sales message versus a marketing message. Marketing message inspires, tells you what you stand for and how your life can change doing it. And then a motivational message could be something like gym membership, don't delay, call today, $10 off.
It's motivating you to do it now.
Correct.
But it doesn't inspire you to do it on your own.
Exactly. But if there's somebody there who's got a photo of themselves or you're watching a photo and you turn up and you can see them and you can see a skinnier version of them, unhealthy, and then you can see a fit version of them, but in their hand there's a child and they're holding the child up and the line below says, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for those you love. If somebody joins the gym based on that, you've set a vision of the future.
And they're inspired.
Correct. And so one's a marketing message, one's a sales message. You sound like you do a lot of marketing messages.
I do my best.
Yeah.
I do my best. If I'm going to speak to someone to change their life, which is what I want to do, I don't want to change their life. That's a bit too selfish. I want to give people tools to change their own lives.
I love how you keep doing that. Every time I say or you say, you correct yourself, that I'm doing it because I'm doing that or I'm doing that. You correct it and you go, actually, they're doing it. They have to do that. I respect that. So maybe I've got to fix that a bit. It's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So the reason I do that is because the language that I use to you is one thing, but the language I use for myself is also so important. I can inspire the hell out of you with language, but then I go turn around and I use that language negatively on myself. So I'm always watching what I say. You know, if I say, oh, you know, you always find yourself doing this. I say, wait, sorry. I find myself doing this, and I make it. Wait a second. Why am I saying you? I'm talking about myself here. So I'll bring my language always to make it make sense. You know, I won't just throw my language away. You know, if I say to you, people always do this. I'm like, sorry, 1 second. I find that it's common that people will do this.
I love that.
Because nothing is always, right?
So that statement,
I'm checking myself
I
all
love
the
that.
time.
That and it resonates a lot with relationship, because that statement of, there's a quote that I heard that says, the man who sees the world as an illusion never suffers.
Okay.
So in other words, that
ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss, but also if I walk in and my partner's at home, well, my wife with my kids, and I walk in, the first thing I say is I or you do this. It's literally a reflection of my reality of that day passed on to what I'm seeing, right? So maybe none of that's true. Maybe all I'm seeing is what I experienced that day. And now what I'm doing is I'm finding the 1% that I can see in that person, and I'm zeroing in on it. But really, it's the 99% of me.
Most of the things
is that what people do?
Most of the things that we see in the world around us are reflections of our internal state.
Yeah.
Mostly. You can get two people side by side looking at the same view, and one says, oh, look how many clouds are coming in. The other one's like, oh my God, it's such a beautiful day. Look at the clouds.
So isn't that super dangerous then when you walk through the door to greet your partner or your wife, and what comes out of your mouth is based on the reality that you experienced that day?
One thing I would suggest, if you're going to talk to your partner, is know that if you're putting stuff out there, you are potentially changing the rest of their day, right? So if you're going to say something, make sure that you're not saying something important while you're in a low mood, right? If you're in a high mood, also the same, actually. Don't let your mood decide what information you give. Make sure you're in a place where you understand, I'm feeling good, I'm neutral, and we can have a conversation here. But if I'm feeling like crap, don't start a deep conversation, because I'm going to bring crap to it.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
You're just transferring your belief.
It's transferring belief, transferring energy, whatever you want to call it.
So people are doing this with their kids.
Yep.
People are doing this with their partner.
Yep.
People are doing this everywhere.
Yeah, and the thing with kids is you don't even have to talk to them. They sense it without words. Kids are better at reading body language than any adult is, because as an adult, we forget how to read body language because we're distracted by everything, all the thoughts we have, the beliefs we've created. Kids, they don't have language yet, so all they can do is read body language. No, dogs are the same, right?
Yeah.
Puppies and kids, they can tell a bad person in a second. A kid starts crying as soon as that favorite uncle walks in the room. Is not a favorite uncle, actually. You know, a dog starts barking as soon as he walks in the room. They're doing the same thing. They're sensing the entirety of the person. There's no language needed.
So I love that. So you're on stage, you're doing the same thing. Somebody pops up. Let's do like a basic example, because people want to know this, I think, from a basic level. Is right now, could you make me quack like a chicken?
I couldn't.
Yeah, why?
Because we'd have to, I could,
Yeah.
but I'd have to take perfect compliance from you. I'd have to take you through a process.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you want to try something?
I'd love to.
Yeah, okay, so we'll see what happens,
Yeah, yeah.
right? It's an experiment.
Yeah.
Right, so I want you to press your hand.
By the way, I said I'd love to. You asked me, do you want to try something? And I just complied.
Yeah.
That's good.
So I want you to press your hand into the table,
Yeah.
just like that, right? And keep pressing down. Now, I don't know how good your imagination is, but if you could imagine that your hand was pressed into the table so strongly, I want you to imagine that you maybe placed glue in between your fingers and your hand was kind of stuck to the table. Imagine that. So there's a moment where your hand will start to feel different. It'll feel like it's actually, before it felt like it was just free, and now it will feel more like it's stuck. But the more you imagine it, the more it'll feel like that. You're starting to feel it, right?
100%.
So in a moment, when you know that it's fully stuck, right? When you've convinced yourself that it's stuck, I want you first just to try and lift this finger. See if you can.
I can,
Okay.
but I'm second guessing.
Excellent. Now try and lift this one. Right, so it's getting a little bit harder, right? So keep pressing down into the table. I want you to imagine that the table and your hand are two magnets, and now it's pulling it to the table, right? Now go ahead and try and lift your hand.
Yeah, it actually starts with my wrist.
There you go.
And I'd never start with my wrist.
No, you wouldn't.
I'd start with my hand.
You'd start with your hand.
So my hand actually rejected that it should be lifted. So I tried to get my forearm to do the lifting of my hand.
Yes.
That's wild, man.
So we created a belief that your hand was stuck.
That's wild.
You created it for
Hey,
yourself.
everybody there should try that, because that's actually that's wild. Because I could start to feel the heaviness of my hand.
Yes.
And I could lift my hand. There's
Yes.
no doubt about it.
But your body responds as if you couldn't.
But my body responded in that instant. My wrist did the lifting. My forearm did the lifting on behalf of my hand.
Correct.
So, however I want to look at that, yes, I can lift my hand, but in a different world where I just put my hand down and I lift it, see it like that, my hand's doing the lifting, not my forearm or my wrist.
That's right. And this very much explains hypnosis.
That's so interesting, man.
So in hypnosis, people are like, yeah, but they could have done it. I'm like, yeah, they could have, right? You can lift your hand. Of course you can. It's not stuck. But we created an imaginatory situation where your hand was stuck. And then, like you said, and that was like probably the best I've ever heard someone explain it. Your body reacted as if, right? In order for me to have my hand stuck, I'd have to lift the only part that wasn't stuck.
Yes.
And you could see that happening. So although your hand's not stuck, you've created this belief, a small one, but a belief that your hand is feeling stuck and that it's reacting as if it is. And so your body is actually playing that out.
That just proved to me when I see these hypnotists do it, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like as if the guy couldn't do that. But that wasn't the point. What I was looking there is come on, lift your hand. And yes, I could still lift my hand, but my hand wasn't doing the lifting.
That's right. So when you talk to someone after a hypnosis show, it's like, so why did you talk like a Martian? Couldn't you just talk English? There's like, yeah, I could, but I couldn't not either.
Yeah.
You know?
I started with the wrong. Well, but that's wild now, because that means if in 2 minutes you looking at me, telling me what I'm going to do, and less than a minute convincing me that my hand can't lift and I have to use my forearm, then what other subconscious beliefs are embedded from coaches to teams, leaders to I've got a great guy who was kind of like mentoring some of the team. His name's Bradley. He used to talk about believership, not leadership.
Oof, I like it.
I loved what he used to say. Believership, not leadership.
Yep.
He said you got to transfer belief. And when that example there tells me that whatever comes out of someone's mouth, in any direction, the leader must be 100% deliberate in what they're saying.
Yep.
Because you could be accidentally hypnotizing everybody.
Every parent to every child that ever existed.
It's insane, man.
Yeah.
Gave me goosebumps, because that's creating mass change by accident in a direction that you don't even want it to go.
Correct. So when I started learning NLP, right? NLP is a subset of hypnosis. Essentially, it's shorthand hypnosis.
Yeah.
It is creating change around specifically mindset, belief, and fears, right? So we can do very quick. The timeline therapy is NLP, right? It doesn't require a long hypnotic process to happen to create the change. Now, when I was studying NLP, going back to manipulation, the concept of manipulation came back up, right? Oh, but can't you use this to manipulate people? You know, matching, mirroring, we talked about that, or changing blah, blah, blah to influence the other person. Couldn't that be manipulative? I'm like, look, now that you know this, you can be conscious of it. If you know that you're manipulating people accidentally, stop. So actually learning about it is going to make you a better person than just going through your life and accidentally. I'm going to give you a language example. All right, we're in a friendship, right? We're in a friendship. I was going to say relationship, but that's kind of odd. So we're in a friendship. And I came to you and say, bro, I love you, but X, Y, Z. What I understand about language, what I know for certain about language, the word but is an exclusion. It's an exclusion. There's a word for it. I keep forgetting it. Let's call it an exclusion word. Whatever I say before but is gone.
It's conditional, you mean?
It's gone.
Yeah.
So I love you, but X, Y, Z. Now all of a sudden, all you can focus on is X, Y, Z. So people are using the word but in their relationships. Hey, baby, I love you, but you always leave the...
Man, that's...
Instead of saying but, you can change it by saying and.
Wow.
Hey, baby, I love you. And I also noticed X, Y, Z. Oh, cool. Thank you so much. I'll think about that. And
see, why I totally agree with that is little things like this. If I was to put out a marketing message and I say, we believe at Oz Realty that the maximum outcome changes lives and you deserve that, doesn't work. But if I just remove the words, we believe at Oz Realty, and literally said...
Oz Realty does that.
No, took that out completely and literally said, the maximum outcome changes your life and you deserve the maximum outcome.
Right.
Now, if I remove the word you, it goes to another level. The maximum outcome changes lives. Everyone deserves that right. So that phrase is going to embed in someone's subconscious so much more than me saying Oz Realty. Because the second I say Oz Realty, there's a biased
Yep.
connection back to
What are they trying to get me to do?
exactly. So when you see our comms log, you'll love this, man. I feel like I've met someone who's not going to think I'm a weirdo, which is good, mate.
I don't think you're a weirdo, man.
Good, mate.
And if I did think you're a weirdo,
Yeah.
I'd have more reason to chat with you.
I love that. Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. All right, beautiful. No, but essentially, in our communications log to people, and we're doing this on purpose, is I'll sit there and I'll think about the word your home, your area, our area, the area. So if I say your area deserves, it's different to the area deserves, which is different to our area deserves.
Our area is the top of the list.
Our area means
Now we're in it together.
we're in it together.
That's right.
So it's like just those words fundamentally change the meaning of the message.
Yep. This reminds me
Which
of
is what you just said with the but.
This reminds, with the but and. This is a solid one. If you can take one bit of information into your language, remove the word but when you're trying to give someone compliments, or when you're trying to, you can also flip it. So the word but excludes the things beforehand, right? You could say, baby, I love you, but you always leave the fridge open. Or you can say, you always leave the fridge open, but I still love you.
Much better.
If you want to use the word but, put the positive after it.
Yeah, much better.
Because that's the one they're going to remember.
Much better.
Everything beforehand, gone.
And that even in reports, we would give a report to an owner and we might say something like this. So some agents want to give negative feedback. Your house is this, your house is that. It's their house. You can't say that about someone's house.
Right.
But if I said, hey, a lot of buyers said that the home has got a steep driveway, but what we told them is,
That's great.
there's other properties that,
Have steeper driveways.
or it's private or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it would lead with the negative, but the correction would be the but with the positive.
That's right.
That's exactly what we do in our reporting,
it's
which fundamentally changes the message. So
Yes.
you'd have owners ringing me saying, hey, I really appreciate you gave me that honest feedback.
Yes.
But I love the way that you defended the home.
Yeah, for sure. And if you want to, and see how I said and.
Yes.
In conversation, a lot of people will agree with each other and say, but, and they'll stop each other and say, but. And they keep going with but.
I'm going to watch this whole thing and go with a highlighter.
Yeah, highlight it, man. Like
How many times
get this script
did
out.
you say but, you idiot, to
Yeah,
myself?
exactly. and is the most powerful word you
that's
can
cool,
use
that's
because
cool.
it includes the other.
Love that, man.
So a lot of buyers have said you've got a steep driveway. And in saying that, we found that actually XYZ, it's more private, this and that. So now it's inclusive.
Yep.
Hey, you've got a steep driveway and there's nothing wrong with it because it's also this.
Yep.
And this.
Yep.
You
Got
choose
it.
but if you want to get rid of it,
Yep.
great, go for
Yep.
it. You choose and if you want to include it and make it less than. Hey Omar, I noticed that your reports are going lower this season, right? You've had some lower reports, and I did notice that they've actually improved over last season.
I like
Keep
that.
going like that, and we'll see that next season they'll be even better.
So if you're going to lead with a negative, have a switch back into the positive.
Definitely.
That either eliminates it or includes it.
Yes.
Okay, so you're reporting, like you said, your sales probably aren't as high as they should be, but what I've seen in your activity this month is unbelievable, and the greatest month is done ahead.
That's right. That's if you want them to just like let go of that. If you want them to remember it though,
Yep.
you use and because hey, I don't want you to forget that this has happened, so I'm going to and that, right? So I've noticed that your sales aren't that good this month, and I've also realized that you're doing really well in this area. So
I like that. It's keeping.
it's not letting them off the hook either.
It's not letting them off the hook to remember that there's a standard.
That's right.
And I like that. I like how that works. That's really good.
Yeah, and so I really love what you do with words, right?
Yeah.
This is our place. This is the place.
I'm
this is
obsessed
your-
with it because I can feel how it's going to resonate.
Yeah, when you get good at it, it's obvious. It
Yeah.
seems obvious. There's a sentence.
When you get good at it, it seems obvious. Do you know how many people say to me, inside your marketing videos, I don't understand what you're saying, it makes no sense. And then in my head, I'm reading the messaging going, that makes perfect sense to the person it's delivered to. What are you reading?
Well, we need to speak to our customers, not to ourselves.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So we've got to make it sound right for them. So if we think it sounds good, give it to a customer and ask them. Because if they don't, we change it. Like we take radical responsibility once again.
Yeah,
It's
love
like,
that.
What are we doing to make sure that how we're perceived in the world is the best? right? I don't want to be the best just for the sake of it. I don't want people to give me applause. I mean, I want to be a celebrity. No
Yep.
problem.
Yep.
But I'm going to bring this personality and this consciousness to my celebrity status. I'm not going to let that take me over. I'm not being a celebrity because I want to be famous and I want to be on Vogue. If I end up on Vogue magazine or whatever the hell magazine, it'll be because of me being this guy all the way to that point, right? But I'm going to always work on my own shit.
Yeah, it was my dream to do that too until I worked out it's not going to happen. But then I found out Vogue Arabia and I thought I got a chance.
You got a chance.
I had a
That's
chance.
right.
I got a chance.
You
with
got this.
Vogue Arabia.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
Sweet.
it's
I'm
good.
gonna go on
We
there.
both got a chance.
Yeah, we both got
it might be
together.
alright.
So I want to tell you something that happened.
Yeah.
I want to go back into why I went into mentalism
Yep.
and how it really happened.
Yep.
Right, and this is a story that relates to you specifically.
Okay.
Right? Magic shows, 15 or so years. Met a woman in New Zealand. We came to Australia and then we moved to Finland together. It was supposed to be a year-long journey, right? The moment we arrived in Finland, I was spending Kiwi dollars, New Zealand dollars. I had a big savings and it was worth nothing in Finland. So 2 months, 3 months after we arrived in Finland, my ex had a job. She had the language, she had family, she had friends, she had a visa. I had none of those things, right? I didn't have a job yet. I couldn't work yet because I didn't have the visa, proper visa. I didn't have friends and I didn't have the language. So it was really tricky for me at the beginning. I started moving around and asking all of these event companies for meetings so that I could sit with them and say, hey, if you have events, you can book me. And I rang maybe a list of 100 people. I got 5 interviews, 2 of them said, yeah, let's work together. So it was very few. And I met an agent in this period of time, right? I did an event for free so I can get myself out there, handed a business card, happened to be an agency. He really liked me, invited me for a coffee. He said, we want to put you on our books and sell your show. I was like, fantastic. Like things are starting to look up. Less than a month later, pandemic hits. Every gig that I got booked, cancelled. I've got nothing. My ex is doing her own job.
And you're in a country you don't really know.
And I'm in a country I don't know, and everyone's scared of each other.
Yep.
And I'm an entertainer. My job is to be in front of people, and no one wants to be in front of anyone.
Yep.
Now, other entertainers started doing shows online, right? Magic shows and whatever. And I just didn't like that idea. I was like, I'll wait for it to blow over, and I'll get back into performing magic. My dad rings me up and says I was speaking with Omar, and he's having a gathering with his board, and he was saying he wished that you were here so you could come and do some magic for us. Now I didn't have one, but I said to Dad, tell him I have a virtual show. See, the thing is,
Love that.
my dad's like, do you have a virtual show? And I said, yes. So he went back and spoke to you.
Yep.
And
I remember.
you said next Tuesday.
It was a cracker show too.
Thank you, my man.
It was so good,
Thank
man.
you.
I remember the truck. See, the truck beeping.
Yes.
And I remember just for everybody out there, I thought it was just like yeah, I'm an open mind, but like you started talking about hearing a truck, right? Mm-hmm. And I still could probably a little bit harder to hypnotize because I was skeptical. Mm-hmm. But I kept thinking, okay, all right, we'll give this a go. And you started going on about a truck beeping or something like that. And I remember I'm looking around going, I can't hear no truck beeping. Anyway, and then you got people in our team going, what's that truck? The truck's beeping. I'm like, this is a piss take. And then the next one goes, yeah, I can hear a truck beeping. What are you going on about? And then I go, oh, can I hear a truck beeping? Maybe I can hear a truck beeping. Yeah. And I never forgot that truck beeping. Yeah. And I thought, you've somehow transferred a belief into the subconscious mind of somebody else over Zoom and got them to believe, that actually had a big impact on me too, got them to believe that a truck is beeping that's not even there. And at that point, I can't even get them to believe themselves to go and help an owner sell a home and maximize the outcome for one house that's there in front of themselves.
So what you'll find is
that's incredible.
I had authority because I was the star of the show.
Yep.
So they gave me authority.
Yeah.
And so when there's authority, there is compliance, right? If there's a fire and everyone's running around and no one knows what to do, the person who says, everybody come this way, everyone's going to follow.
So the person with the vision.
You have to have a vision.
Yep.
You have to be confident, and you have to have a direction.
I love that,
and
man.
This is why we'll find in society, the pandemic's a great example. Everyone was losing their mind, and the person with the biggest voice told everyone what to do.
Yeah.
Stay home. Everyone did.
And that's massive for leadership, because if you are managing a team or leading a team, that's why Bradley talks about believership, and you are the person who does not have clarity on the vision, then everybody else around you, if they're looking at you, is only going to go backwards.
Yep.
If they don't have their own clear vision, clear belief, being able to see what's happening next, simple terms. So you've spoken about using very simple language. You've spoken about things like how you say your name, Xavier, to paint a mental picture of what's happening next. We've spoken about not linking too many words, how but and and could be different to what you're saying. You know, we've spoken about going to the past to not to judge it or go deep into it, but to try and replace it and then draw a line in the sand to now instill a new belief for the future.
It just gives a better chance for the new belief.
Yeah. And so all of those practices, whether they're done on stage or not, essentially are leadership qualities. Wouldn't you think?
I think so. So I'll continue that story for a second. The show that I did for you, the virtual show that I did for you, you offered to pay, right? And I said to Dad, tell him it's on the house.
Yeah.
2 reasons. One, because it was you. But more importantly, I've never done one before.
Yeah,
right?
I love that too.
I lied.
You don't want to take value from somebody without knowing.
Mate,
you can give it.
I didn't, say, and I'm going to say I lied, but that's not exactly true.
You believed you could do it.
I believed it. You know what? I saw a couple of virtual shows during the pandemic. I watched some other people do their performance. I was like, I can do better than that. I don't do mentalism. I do magic, but I know a lot of mentalism. I was like, I spent the 5 days between telling you, my dad telling you, and you saying yes, like it was like Friday to Tuesday. I spent that weekend collecting all of the mentalism, the mind reading effects that I could, and putting them together and say, this would work on Zoom. I was calling all my friends. I'm like, hey, think of something. Okay, it worked. Fantastic. That's going in my show. Wrote it down. When I performed to you, it was 4 a.m. finish time, right? So it was like 10 a.m. for you guys. I performed in my kitchen. I put a green screen in front of the fridge. I had my laptop on the stove. The lights are on the kitchen sink. You know, and I made it look like I was in a library. You remember that?
I do remember, yeah.
And I remember some people not even realizing I wasn't in a library.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I took this idea that I couldn't do something, didn't want to do something, and I took this opportunity that come from my dad just making a comment, and I said, you know what? Let's just live into it. I'll say that it's a thing. When I came back to Australia, so after the pandemic, I kept doing mentalism. I ended up doing maybe 150 virtual shows.
It's massive.
Canada, New
That's
Zealand,
a lot of data,
USA,
man.
UK, South Africa, Australia, from home. I was doing virtual shows. I made more money in the pandemic than I do right now, right? Because
Love that, man. It went from nothing to a shift in belief, everything.
It shifted everything.
Yep.
And then when I stopped, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep doing the mentalism. The connection I was building was so much stronger than magic. It was in their minds. It was like, hey, think of stuff. Let's do this together.
It is. It's powerful.
Very powerful. Yeah. Kept doing mentalism. Came back to Australia only last year. And some people started asking me to go on podcasts. You know, they're like, hey, let's talk about mentalism and how it works. We're doing it right now.
Yeah.
And because of that, I started going to some business networking and people asking me, what do you do? And I was saying mentalist I've been back for 2 years. For the first 6 months, I'm a mentalist. After that first podcast and all those questions that she asked me, I started going to my networking meetings and like, I'm a mentalist and a keynote speaker. It's like, oh, wow, what do you speak about? So I speak about communication, confidence, connection, mindset, and belief. Have I done one? Did I do one at that point? No, I hadn't.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting booked. I'm getting flown next week to go to the Gold Coast to deliver a conference on mindset and do a show as well. Why? Because I just said I could do it, like I did with the virtual show. Who I am today is very much in a large part for the fact that you said yes to have me for a virtual show. You know, I want to thank you for that.
No, we just happened to be right place, right time. But
right
that was
place,
all,
right
you were
time.
always going to do it.
Me. Yeah, I don't know. This is just how it happened.
Yeah.
The opportunity that you gave me, you wanted to give something back, I remember. And this is what I remember about you. You offered to pay, and I said no. Then you said, let me film something. Let me film it. You got a videographer in here to do some testimonials. He made a little video for me. I used that video to sell every show.
I'm so glad, man.
Yeah. And that video, if I look at it now, I'm like, oof, I look very different. I probably wouldn't use that as promotional material, but it saved my ass. You paid me many times over. So you being a great person, you know, you wanted to give.
I don't know. You were great to us.
Thank you. I feel like we very much met halfway there.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to add so much value to you guys. The show was an hour and 20 minutes or so. It was long.
It was brilliant.
You know, and I only do 30 minutes at a time now.
I think every single person out there who is running a corporation, you can disguise it as magic for entertainment for the people who roll their eyes, but ultimately it's not a magic show. I believe it is a leadership, belief, training session. And if you're watching one of your shows, the way I used to watch the show wasn't for entertainment. I was watching for what is he doing to control the room? How is he speaking? Why is this person, I don't feel what he's doing is doing anything right now, but why is that person reacting exactly the way he suggested that she should be reacting? How can he use what he's really great at? He's got this person in the position right now of listening to what he's saying. He's in a powerful position, but not in a way to control her, in a way to help her improve her life. How could he instill self-belief? Or how can a leader instill self-belief? How can you get people believing in themselves right now? How do you get somebody who broke down in a relationship to raise their self-worth? And if you've got compliance and if you've got agreements from that person, that's leadership.
Follow in the right direction.
And when I saw that, I was like, it's amazing. Yep. And there was another guy that I watched because you got me into it. I was watching it anyway. I don't do it. Obviously, I don't know how to do it, but I care enough to want to try and influence people. But effectively, there was a guy, what's his name, Brown?
Darren Brown.
Man,
He was my influence to go from magic to mentalism.
he's so good, man.
So good.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
He does some crazy shit, man.
It's phenomenal.
Like I was watching a show once and I was watching it and I was like, by the end of it, I was like, how?
Yeah. I used to have a magic show which had boxes and stuff, right? Like I never did the rabbit out of the hat or the fake flowers from the sleeve. I didn't do that sort of magic. My magic was essentially tasteful because I wanted to be a different magician. But I had a lot of stuff. And I went to shows with a lot of stuff. I watched Darren Brown's show. He did an hour and a half show, and the biggest prop that he had was a notepad on an easel, and it was just, he had a frisbee that he chose people with the audience. He had nothing.
Yeah.
And his show was better than any magic show I'd ever seen.
He was brilliant.
I just dropped all of my magic props and I started focusing on showmanship.
I love that.
How do I be such a performer that I don't need props? I would sit here, like, for example, I would sit here and have a conversation with a friend in Finland. And I was telling a friend, he said, like, how good are you at magic? Like, how do I answer that? Like, I'm the best? No, I can't say that. I'm pretty good.
I'm the greatest.
I'm the greatest, the world's greatest. I said to him, let me put it this way. With what I have in my pockets right now, I could get on stage and do a 40-minute show. He's like, really? I said, with what I have in my pockets right now, I can get on stage and do a 40-minute show and everyone would love it. And I trusted that. I really trusted that. Now, I never done it, but I just believed it. My last show in Finland gave me a good lesson that I can do it. I went to a gig. They said, we want you to come and do close-up magic for 10 people at a table, right? There's only 10 of us. It's a board like table, and it's an end-of-year function. I was like, that's fantastic. Put them all around one table, and I'll stand at the middle of the table and just do some close-up magic, some mind reading and some magic together. So I have a pack of cards in my pocket. I have some business cards and a pen, and I had a photo in my pocket, which is part of something. I get to the room. I walk in. It's a ballroom. There's 20 tables, 10 people at each table. Yeah. There's a big stage with lights. They said, oh, this is the stage you're going to be on.
It's disconnected.
I was just like, what do you mean? You booked me. You literally paid me for a half an hour close-up performance for 10 people. This is like nearly 200 people, and there's a big stage. She's like, do you want more money? And I just like, I didn't say yes. I said no. I said, no, don't worry about it. In the back of my mind, I'm laughing at myself. I'm like, you told your mate last week that you could do this. You could do a stage show with what's in your pockets right now.
And what you intend, you get, right? It popped up in your life.
Jumped on the stage. I did a 40-minute show. I went to the staff. I'm like, I need a headset microphone. I need a couple of notepads and some pens from the conference rooms. Bring them up onto the stage. That's all I had.
So that's like a turning point moment.
I knew that mentalism was the way forward for me.
But it's a turning point moment that you took. That was produced. It was brought to you specifically for you.
Yeah, well,
you seem to keep taking those moments.
Yep. Yeah, I love them.
Your test is in your punishment.
It's not my punishment. My test is my greatest reward.
Yeah.
If I get a test and pass through it, how is that punishment? Even if it was a test.
And it's all tied to a subconscious or a vision or a belief that you're steering towards. Yep. So how does Xavier become the greatest mentalist on earth? And how do I create the greatest service delivery application that the world's ever seen in this sector?
Oh, you got to believe you can do it, firstly, right? Secondly, don't stop learning.
And how does somebody out there right now inject self-belief into their life and start believing in themselves a bit more?
It's easy to say, keep learning, don't stop learning, right? But what I've learned over time, over and over again, the biggest success for learning is the unlearning of what you don't need.
I love that. I
learned
love that,
yeah,
man.
I learned this phrase.
Subtract, don't add.
Subtract and add. What knowledge is gaining every day. Wisdom is letting go of something every day, right? So you can just keep ingesting information. Right? That's fine. You can have a bunch of information, go on a talk show, no problem, and press the buzzer. But if you want wisdom, you got to know what's the difference between what you need to keep in your mind and what you need to let go of.
And I see people go to events, they write all these notes, and they get more confused. I've got this thing in my head personally, how I function is, let's say I'm building this application, and I'll consume what the greatest minds have done in that space for like maybe a week.
Yep.
And then I'll spend the next 5 months not listening to anything else. Because what's the point of acquiring that knowledge and not deliberately doing something with it?
Yep.
Whereas people keep acquiring knowledge and acquiring knowledge and acquiring knowledge.
It's a form of procrastination.
Isn't it?
I'm guilty as well.
Okay.
You know, I love getting information until I realize where's the action.
And you got to let go. Like people, like you said, I mean, people go up there, and I think you do it. I've actually watched your shows before you came on. I was looking at some stuff, and I could see you when you're talking to people, you're removing things from their mind, like, don't worry, it's not going to be this or whatever it may be, and you're constantly trying to remove and let go, and you're stripping them back down to the core so you can influence
Something.
Yeah, something.
That's right.
And I see you do that a lot. And how many people just keep acquiring when they need to stop and start subtracting?
So get rid of some stuff. It's no different to the beliefs we were talking about. The subtracting stuff you don't need leaves space for what you do need. Subtracting the beliefs you don't need opens space for the beliefs you want to create. So the subtracting is not negative.
So people need to quit a lot more.
Yes, surprisingly, you got to stop doing some stuff.
You need a quit list.
Quit list. Yeah, quit doing this, but have a replacement for that.
Which is a vision of the future.
That's right. You can't just go around and quit all of this stuff in your past, and then you're just like, well, now I don't know what to do. I'm twiddling my thumbs. I'm just going to go back to what I'm familiar with. And belief comes back again.
Got it.
You know, someone who stops smoking, what they do is they replace it with chewing gum or eating food, right? And then they get kind of tired of that, and they're like, oh, fuck it, I'll just go back to smoking, right? It's like, all right, why did you stop in the first place? You know, is there that image of that you with a baby in your hand, healthy, and you're healthy, and your baby? What's your inspiration for stopping? When we can get that in someone's mind for any belief, we can get rid of the old belief and leave space for the inspiration. It doesn't come back.
So even people that, like, you give them advice or you're trying to guide them and you give them a vision of the future and they're coming back at you, it's everybody, right? You speak to somebody and like, look, if Steve Jobs walked into the room and was alive again and said to me, Omar, you suck, the first thing I'm going to say to him is, tell me exactly how, please.
Yeah.
Insult me.
Yeah.
Even more.
What exactly do I suck at?
Because I know the future I want. He's been sent to help me.
That's right.
But sometimes you can have a conversation with somebody and their reaction is always based on ego.
Yep.
They're fighting back.
Right.
They're fighting back. Why do you think people do that?
Somewhere in their life, in their history, they've been taught that they're not good enough, they're not worthy, that they're wrong, that they're bad. And when they become an adult, they haven't had any moment of working on that, right? So someone comes along and says, you've done something wrong. Their 3-year-old self, 5-year-old self, who's their parents said, don't do that, comes up all of a sudden and it attacks you. When someone attacks me or has an unnecessary reaction to something small that I've said, that's not them speaking. That's their younger self, whatever age that was. That's a belief that they created around themselves and they're speaking through their adult body right now. So if someone gets really upset that I said, hey, you know, you did this wrong. If someone tells me I did something wrong, I thank them because now I know that I'm not doing something correctly. I can actually get closer to doing it correctly. That's me.
And if your reaction is not that, then I guess the question is, why are you reacting like that? Which then means that anytime somebody's tried to instill wisdom or pass something onto someone and they've rejected, I guess the greatest wisdom that the person who tried to give that information, I guess the greatest wisdom from that person is to sit there and go, what you just said, that's somebody from their past speaking here. It's not them.
So there's one thing that I do personally, right? Because I'm essentially a mind reader. Why am I a mind reader? Because I listen very carefully. I'm watching for verbal and non-verbal cues.
It's a lot of patience, though.
It's hard, but I learned patience. The gift of patience is patience.
Yeah.
Right? And I also want the best for others. My intention is solid, right? So when someone comes up to me and I say something, I say, hey man, you did that incorrectly. Maybe I didn't use the but and. Maybe I didn't use my language correctly. No problem.
Yeah.
Whatever reason.
Or maybe you didn't want to. You just really wanted
I
them
just
to
want
get that
to
message.
tell them, like, I want to be told,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I tell them, hey, you did that incorrectly. And they just like, you always tell me. Rah, rah. I was like, that's an overreaction. I can stop for a second. I can let them overreact. And I'll be like, in my mind, I already know that is a past self reacting right now. It's their pain body, essentially, right? That's reacting.
Or it's a vision of the future, perhaps, that they don't want, that's been brought to the present.
It could be anything, right?
Yeah, but it's something past or present.
Yes.
Past or future.
Exactly. Whatever it is, that's not the best version of them. And I like to see the person as a possibility, not as a hindrance.
So would you say then, this is probably getting a bit too deep, would you say two people in an argument, one could be their 3-year-old speaking, and the other one could be their 70-year-old speaking, and they're both 30 years old. So essentially, the two 30-year-olds aren't having a conversation here.
Yes.
You got their child fighting with the grandpa, and they're coming at each other. One's thinking about their future and fighting for their future. The other one's thinking about their past and fighting for their past. So no conversation is really present.
Yes.
Is that too far?
No, it's not. I'm going to go into that right now because I love that.
Yeah.
There's something called transactional analysis, right? You can look it up on YouTube, and there's a couple of short videos around it. I watched 3 10-minute videos, and that was it, stuck in my head, right? Transactional analysis, or it might not be analysis, it might be another word, but it's something about transaction, right? In conversation. There are three kinds of speaker interaction. You're either interacting as the adult, you're either interacting as a parent, as a child, or you're interacting together as adults, right? Let's say, and you said it, 7-year-old and 3-year-old, that's parent, child, right? So let's say I'm telling you what to do. Hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. If you're in your child state, you'll respond with aggression, not listening, fighting back. That's because I was too parent in my approach, right? And then you start fighting back and you start, and then all of a sudden in that conversation, I'm trying to like soften you now. And then all of a sudden I start shrinking myself and I'm like, no, I didn't really mean that. I don't know. And now I'm being the child and you're on top of me and now you're the parent. And we just go in this dynamic backwards and forwards, one trying to beat the other. The only thing to stop that conversation from happening is to choose adult. Is to choose the middle ground.
How? Who chooses it? One's got to choose it over the other?
Someone has to.
Okay.
It's going to be me.
And that's the person with the vision ultimately, because that's the person saying, back to your analogy or your example, that you're in a tunnel, something happens, we need to get this way, everybody follows.
Yep. In my opinion, radical responsibility is the way forward, right? If there's something's going wrong, I am going to do something about it.
It's the fastest way to the future you want.
Yeah, because if I wait for you to fix a problem between us, I could wait forever.
Yep, got it.
If I take responsibility, I would say, you know what? I know this happened with my dad not long ago, right? We were arguing.
Love your dad.
Yeah, I love him.
He's the greatest.
Incredible
Rob,
man.
You're the greatest.
Love you, Bob.
Yeah.
So we were talking about something. This is quite a while ago. We don't have this anymore. It's gone now.
Yeah.
We were talking about something. He was talking about something, and I found myself, because I've known him my whole life. I've been his child my whole life. No matter how old I get, I'm his child. In that conversation, we were kind of level in the conversation, but then he started telling me something from a dad point of view. Yeah. And I found myself going back to my teenage self and kind of resisting him and arguing. And I was like, I just didn't like it. And we were starting to get heated. And I'd already understood this transactional analysis stuff. And I was like, stop. I'm an adult. You're an adult. Let's start again and talk about this like adults. What do you want to say? And at that point, I listened from adult. I forgot the fact that I was annoyed. Yeah. I forgot the fact that he was just trying to, be.
You're framing identity constantly.
It's my frame.
Yeah.
My frame has to be strong. If I don't like what's being said, I'll say, stop for a second.
No, I love that.
Let's start again.
Do you know what, back to this person I know, what he said, Bradley, he said this, which is really good. He said, belief is bringing your future frame and your present frame into one frame. One frame. So it's like bringing a movie of the future into today's frame. And if you can bring your present and your future into one frame and see it through one frame,
it'll happen.
It's already done. It's done. Like it's not, it'll happen. It's done because every part of your nervous system, the way you move, the way you walk, the way you talk, is now in line with that. So
if you're the same with the visualization with the soccer team.
It's the same thing. Yeah. It's the ability to bring that in, to bring the future and the
present.
And I see our team, if I go into mentorship with them, the first thing I'm doing is bringing the future and the present into one frame, and then getting them to believe it. But instead of me getting them to believe it, I resort to just that 333, 444, 666, 666, something that's so simple.
Simple, easy to remember.
Keeps embedding into their brain.
And they know what the fours mean.
They know what it means.
Yes.
They know what it means, but they don't resist it because it's not saying that's what they're doing. It's saying that's what it is.
It's just
it
4,
just
4, 4.
is. And then what ends up happening is you get rapid change. Like someone goes from 0 to 10 a month, from 10 to 15 a month, and you start to see the way they walk. And it's actually interesting. You'll actually like this. We take photos of them when they first join the business, and then we wait 6 to 12 months later, and we take another profile photo. And they say to us, why book us in for another profile photo? I'm the same person. I haven't aged in 6 months. And we're like, we'll show you. And we bring up the profile photo 6 months later against the profile photo when they first started. And I kid you not, Xavier, 2 completely different people. The tone of their skin, the color of how their eyes are a little bit different, how their neck posture is, how they're sitting back. It is completely different. And ironically, the result of what we aspired to get and what we put into their brain is happening at that moment. And so that person here not only has a different result, but physically looks completely different.
Yep, we can change our physiology.
You can't you?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I can show, and I'll put it up for this podcast. I'll show you photos of people in our team, and you will not believe the difference. It's 6 months.
Yep.
And people go, wow, that person, he hasn't aged, but he looks like he's older.
I learned this in a different environment. Okay, so a little bit of personal information. I don't think it's an issue. My parents were together for 36 years, and then at some point they went their separate ways, right? Which is okay. Like, I was old enough for it to be okay. Now, it wasn't an easy time. Let's put it that way. But what I did notice was this: they separated for their differences. They were quite different people, right? My mum and my dad are very, very different people. They both found respective partners who were more like them, right? For those periods. What I did notice was this: after the initial difficulties, after some period of time, I looked at both of my parents individually, and from my perspective, they looked 15 years younger, each of them. I was like, I looked at my parents and they used to look older. And then after that, this something happened. They went separate ways. They found something that worked for them for their own reasons. It worked for them. They actually looked younger. Something happened. There was less of a stress that ended, right? And I'm not advocating for people to divorce. I'm not advocating for that at all. If it must happen, it must happen. Fine. But if it does happen, there is a reason that it had to happen in the first place. And when it does happen, the stress of that having to be a thing that is not wanted is gone. When a stress goes away, the body de-ages. Stress ages you, right? And so when you come into a place where you've got a lot to do, I've got a lot of growth to do, I'm actually stressed, I've actually looked younger. I look at photos of myself from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I look younger now. Like, why did I look older? I was a lot more stressed. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was going to do. During the pandemic, I looked old. And I saw from my parents' experience now, when they lost some stress, they looked younger. And I was like, if my parents can change their age at 65, 70, whatever it was, I can change my age. I tell people my age, I don't mind, but I feel younger. Everything about me is younger. I have less stress in my life. And people never guess my age. People guess me early 30s all the time.
Yep.
Like, I'm getting quite on now.
Yep.
But they're still guessing early 30s. Why? I feel like that. I live like that.
I like that. I feel like that. I live like that. That's interesting. Is there any other like tricks you can do or something? Some hypnotizing or something like that?
You want to see something interesting?
Yeah, man.
I want to see if this works on this experiment, right? I have 2 experiments to do.
Okay.
I'm going to take this out of my pocket and leave this on the table. We'll go like this. So we'll do something. I've got 2 to do that I thought might work. I'm gonna write something here. What can we see? Okay, we can see the card. I'm gonna write something here. Now, oftentimes we want to create really detailed stuff, right? We want to create really detailed images and stuff like that. I'm just gonna leave that there. If I wanted to create a picture of something, right? Like, say I wanted to draw a face, I would start with simple before I made it difficult, right? I would start with a circle, 2 dots for the eyes, a semicircle for the mouth. Now, that's the simple drawing. Then I could add features later. Right? I don't want you to go for a face or something so cool like that. But what I want you to do is take two simple shapes, put them together to construct an image in your mind. A very basic image, the first thing that comes up. You've got something? Now, I want you to make that like a life-size image, right? So imagine that it was like life-sized. Now, if it was a life-size image, could you imagine there was something beside it in the real world? You got something beside it?
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine something above it maybe?
Mm-hmm.
You got it, all right? So now, do you want to go with the thing above it or beside it?
Beside it.
Beside it, okay. Imagine the thing that's beside it written as a word in front of you, right?
Yep.
Just spell it out. Now, don't confirm this or deny this, but I have a feeling this is a long word, okay? But don't tell me anything, okay? I have a feeling it's a long word. I want you to go for like the last or second last letter of that word.
Yep.
All right? And think of a long word that starts with that letter. You got something?
Yep.
Is it something you can physically touch?
No.
You can't physically touch that thing?
No.
Okay.
You said something, or
So you
Yep.
you took the word
Yep.
and you took the last letter of that word. You thought of a long word that starts with that. Okay.
Yeah.
I want you to think of another long word that starts with that, but something you can physically touch, even if you haven't touched one.
Yeah. Got it.
All right. This is quite a large thing. Yes.
Yes.
Quite large.
The thing I can touch, or the thing?
Yeah. The thing that you can touch.
No.
It's not large.
No.
It's quite small.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Now I don't want to ask you the first letter because that'll be too easy, or the second letter. What's the third letter? I'm going to guess it. It's not an L, is it?
No.
What is it?
It's an R.
That's really interesting. What did you go for?
Barnhouse. Barnhouse.
A barn house. That's really interesting because I just wrote house here.
It's pretty good.
It's close.
Yeah.
Right?
That's pretty
What
good.
was the image you made in your mind?
House.
It was also a house. Very good.
I should have made it difficult for you because I'm a real estate agent. You come on my show, idiot. Either you're too smart or I'm too stupid, but somewhere we met in the middle. It's a house. It's a house. I don't even think I'm on there anymore. There I am. There you go. It's a house. I'm too stupid and he's too smart, and this is where we arrived.
Yeah.
That's good.
Now there's ways of kind of moving people in certain directions.
Yeah,
There's
that's
ways
good.
of
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I'll try one more with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to work.
Keep
but-
in mind, I'm trying everything I can to throw you off the scent.
All right. So how about you work with me on this one?
All right.
instead?
I'll do my
We'll
best.
see. We'll see what happens if you work with me. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Now this again is an experiment. I'm gonna go with, let's say, this, and I'm gonna go with this, and I'm gonna go with this. All right. I'm gonna leave this down on the. Actually, I'm just gonna hold it here. Right. So imagine I gave you 3 pens, colored pens. There's red, there's blue, and there's green. Follow me on this one.
Red, blue, green.
Take them all.
Yep.
Mix them up in any order you like. I'm just going to leave this here because I want to make sure that everyone can see it at all times. So
Yep.
red, blue, and green. And place them onto the table in whatever order
Yep.
you have them there.
Yep.
Okay? Excellent. Now pick one of them up. Excellent. Put both your hands under the table. Leave it in that hand. Put them both under the table.
Yep.
Okay. Now, I want you to imagine, I'm just going to put this down for a second. Imagine the pen is in one hand. And if I ask you to, say, move it twice, you'll be like 1, 2, like that, for example. So don't do it twice.
While it's under the table.
It was on the table. So keeping it from where you started, think of a small number and move it back and forward that many times.
Yep.
Have you done it? And just to make it more random, move it that many times again.
Yep.
All right? Do you want to keep it in the hand that it's in, or do you want to move it one more time?
I'll keep it in the hand that it's in.
Bring your hands out. Bring both hands together so I don't know which one it is. Just
Yep.
hold them both like this. Pull your hands apart. Now, if the pen is in this hand, I want you to tell me the truth no matter what.
Yep.
If it's in this hand, I want you to lie no matter what.
Yep.
So you're either a truth teller or you're a liar. You have to just choose the character and stick with it, right? So when I ask you this question, you have in your mind which one you are. You're a truth teller or a liar, okay?
Yeah.
You just got one in your mind. Tell me, as that character, which color pen did you pick up?
Blue.
That's in the character that you have become.
Yeah. A truth person or,
Or
a
a
liar.
liar. Okay.
Yeah.
So I take whatever pen that is. I still don't know whether you're lying or telling the truth. I
Yep.
don't know what color it is because
Yep.
I don't know if you're lying or telling the truth.
Yep.
Take that pen, whatever it is, and color the door of this house that you imagine. So imagine just a house with a roof and a door. Color the door of the house.
Yeah, but with what hand?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Just
Okay.
Just imagine. Yeah, it's colored, right?
Yeah.
Now throw both hands over. I don't know where the pen is. Throw it
Yep.
over. Okay. So now you've got a door of whatever color that was. I still don't know what it is. You've only got 2 colors left.
Yep.
What I want you to do is switch characters.
Yep.
If you were a truth teller, you're now a liar.
Yep.
If you were a liar, obviously it
Yep.
changes again. So know the character you're going to be now, the opposite character. Pick up another pen. All right. Now in this new character, and take a couple of seconds to tell me, you've only got 2 colors left. What color did you pick up?
Green.
I want you to paint the walls of the house, whatever color this is, right? I still don't know what color this is. I don't know if you're lying or telling the truth now.
Yep.
I think you might be telling the truth. I don't know. Paint the walls of the house this color.
Okay.
Excellent. Throw it over your head. And you've only got 1 color left.
Yep.
Pick it up and paint the roof. Excellent. So now you've painted the door 1 color, the walls 1 color, and the roof 1 color. All this happened in your head.
Yep.
You've painted a house. What color was the door?
Green. Green. By memory.
What color was the roof?
Red.
And what color was the walls?
Blue.
Excellent. Now you've been doing this all in your mind.
Yes.
Right? This is exactly what I need to know from you.
Yep.
All right? You ready for this?
Yep.
Good. Think of a person that's very important in your life.
Mhm.
I want you to write their name here very clearly. We're going to show it to the camera later, okay? I'm not going to look. I'm just going to look away.
Yep.
Happy with it?
Yep.
All right, don't show the camera now.
Yep.
Place it on here. I'm not going to look at it. I'm just going to take the pen for a second. Now, when I say to someone, write a name of someone that's important in their life, the first thing they usually do is go for like a family member, right? Now, I don't know if you went for a family member. Are you left or right-handed here?
Right.
Hold your right hand out like this and put your other hand flat on top. All right? Lift it up so that maybe they can see.
Yep. Over here.
Over here.
Hello. There we go.
Excellent. So you wrote the name of someone and you placed it inside your hand.
That's right. Yep.
Now, I'm not going to look at it now. I'll look at it later.
Okay.
Right? You've got a name of a person here.
Yep.
All I need to do is ask you a question, answer in your mind, but don't answer out loud.
Mhm.
Just in your mind.
Am I still holding it like this?
Yep.
Yep.
Is this a male? Is this a female? Don't say anything
Yep.
out loud, okay?
Yep.
Is this a male? Is this a female?
Yep.
So, look, I'm going to tell you what I just did then.
Yep.
I asked you, is it a male? Is it a female? Both times you said yep when I said female, and you said it really close after I said female. This is definitely a female.
Wow.
Is it? It is a female. Okay.
I love
So
that.
I know that. All right.
Oh,
So
wow.
don't forget,
Wow, wow.
I'm looking for everything.
That's a
So
trick. That's a trickster right
it's tricky.
there.
So
That's
do your
tricky.
best not to give anything
All right.
away,
I'm going to focus now. Go on.
All right.
I'm not going to give anything away. Go.
Okay. So what I want you to do is go to the first letter. Don't say anything. First letter, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. Okay, what I noticed was when I was going through the letters, you stopped, you blinked around 6 or 7. So I'm thinking there's about 6 or 7 letters in the name. I could be wrong.
Yep.
Don't tell me anything. But I got a blink, and
Yeah.
I'm going to read that blink as if it's something, hoping for the best. All right, the laughter is giving it away, so that's fun. All right, go to like the third letter of the name.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's longer than 3 letters for sure.
Yeah.
So go to the third letter of the name. Don't
Yeah.
tell me what it is.
Yeah.
Can you think of like a major city in the world that starts with this letter?
Yep.
All right. Can you think of like a landmark that's in this city?
Yep.
Okay. Imagine yourself standing on top of it with this person.
Yep.
All right. So now you're on top of this. It's either a building or some sort of a mountain. I don't know. It's something.
Yep.
It could be the Great Wall of China. I don't know. You've been to this city out of interest?
Yes.
Okay. So just keep it in mind. All right. Now, what I want you to do is go say, I don't know, choose the last letter of the name. Right. And can you think of a simple food that starts with this letter?
Yes.
Okay. Have you touched this food today? You don't have to tell me. Okay, that's like you've seen it, but you haven't touched it.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. All right. Imagine the color of that food.
Yeah.
Right?
Go on. Yeah.
Oh, you didn't change your mind, did you? There's 2
You
colors.
said imagine the color of the food.
You went for one color, then changed to another one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, but you knew that was going to happen, man.
I don't know. Maybe not. I mean,
Yeah, all right,
foods
go
are
on,
only
go
one
on,
color.
go on.
If it was a banana, it's be one color only.
Yeah.
You went for. Did you go for green? No,
Yeah.
You did go for green. Okay, that's green food. That's really interesting. Imagine you're standing on top of wherever you are,
Yep.
and you're looking down over the city. You can see all the different things. I'm getting this image of like a circle thing moving around. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
It does make sense because that doesn't mean anything to me. And you're standing up. Okay. I'm getting like this is like tick sound, right? Okay, that's a thing for me. Wait a second. You're on top of a building, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're standing with this person.
Mm-hmm.
Give the food to that person.
Yep.
Imagine she eats it.
Yep.
She likes it. Yeah, she likes it. It's not a bad food, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an apple, is it? She's eating an apple?
Mm-hmm.
She's eating an apple.
Yep.
You're standing on top of... I see a clock. Is there a clock involved here?
Yep.
You're on top of Big Ben.
Yeah.
In London. You're in London? All right. When you see her, tell Melissa I said hello. Show everyone.
But you know what? Let me. Where is it? Here we go. There you go. But you know what? I'm not going to let you off the hook. You're going to tell me exactly what you did there, because how is anyone going to learn about how to do this in their life to help people get better, to help kids change, to help a kid jump from one place to another, to help their daughter who comes home from school crying and they need to shift their pattern? Because I can see it's in there.
Yeah. So what I'm doing in this moment...
That was good, man.
Thank you, bro.
So good. That was so good.
You can keep that. That's my business card.
Yeah, mate, you've done well there. You've done well there.
So keep in mind, what I do is for entertainment purposes, right? What I've learned is valuable in the world.
That is valuable. I can see that's valuable.
Yeah. So I'm not just using this for entertainment. So when I entertain via mentalism or magic or whatever, there's an element of truth, deception, and showmanship. They're all there, right?
Yep.
Some things I'm telling you that I am doing, some things I'm pretending to do, some things I'm doing just for the fun of it,
Yep.
right? And it's all mixed up. And the audience doesn't know which one it is. And that's the beauty of it. That's why it's magical, regardless. I don't like the word magic because it's kind of...
Yeah, I don't think magic's the word,
Well,
man.
this is why I use mentalism.
It really is.
Right, yeah. And I also say hypnotism because that's part of it.
Yeah.
Using my language to make you do things, to get ideas. When I start asking questions and I start breaking down, what you don't see is what I'm doing in my head.
But can I ask you then? Melissa, right? You picked up Melissa, someone close to me, whether you knew that was my wife's name or you didn't. Let's say you didn't, right?
It's your wife?
It is, yeah, right. But so you didn't, right? So I can tell how you got the 6 letters. Mm-hmm. I can tell what you did there, right? Let me break down what I think you did. Mm-hmm. Am I allowed, or is this mystical stuff that you don't?
You can.
No.
I reserve the right to not answer.
Okay, fine. All right, fine. So when you were looking at me and you said, I'm going to go through the letters, I can see how that works because after a certain letter, you tune out. Or you can see at what point the person tunes out. Yeah. That's simple enough to know the length of the letters.
Right.
That I know. I could probably do that myself. I could say, hey, yeah, think of, is it this? Is it, tell me when, whatever. So I can get that. That's an easy cue. Okay. The yep one got me. That was really smart because my acknowledgement, I literally gave you the answer without even knowing I gave you the answer. That's important. But the part I'm not getting, the apple part, you can work that out. I don't think that's hard. 2 colors. Is there 2 colors? I mean, how many? It's not easy, but it's doable in my head from my frame of reference. Okay. I'm only talking about my own ability here.
Sure.
Okay. The part I don't get is how do you then link the name Melissa, the clock, Big Ben, the tick, the standing on the building, whatever, you can get that. There's only about 10 landmarks in the world, 3 landmarks in the world. It's possible. Right. It's possible. It's possible, right? So I can see the length of the name. Yep, I know it's about 6 letters. I can work that out. Yeah. I can see that, okay, give me the 3rd letter or whatever it could be. What is it? Is it L? Okay, it's L. There's 6. Okay, so now I've got to think in my head, there's 6 names out there, 6-letter words or 7-letter words, and one of them, L. So I got to link L with a 7-letter name. Okay, so how do I then do that? So I can follow everything here except for the M, the E, the I, the S, the S, and the A. I can't.
I got to leave you something to think about.
That's gold, man. Like that's.
We can try it again. So
there's going to be someone out there listening going, "You idiot! This is what he's doing."
Maybe so.
Yeah,
and that's good because I'll be commenting and it'll be good for our ratings. Yeah. So we'll do this real quick and I'll see if it works.
I love that, man.
No worries, man.
I love that. Yeah.
So what I want you to do is say, I don't know when you were born. Think of your star sign.
Yep.
Have you got it? Okay, just imagine it written in front of you like Leo right here. Okay, this is the L, this is the E, you're not a Leo, are you?
Do I have to answer?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. It's good because I just don't. If it is, this is over. I'll do something
I
different.
just want to look you straight in the eye now.
No, okay,
I'm going to make sure by the end of this one, you're going to get it wrong and embarrass yourself in front of everybody on the
Please
TV.
do.
That's what I'm going to
Please
do. I'm going to embarrass you right now. You're
So
not going to pick nothing.
I just need a simple yes or no response.
All right, you're not going to pick nothing. Go.
Simple yes or no
Go.
response.
Be ready to be embarrassed.
You've got the star sign written in front of you, all right? Just imagine it written in front of you like that. Like I said, like Leo, but Leo like that. But you imagine yours. Some people are good with words. Some people are better with pictures, all right? So imagine you just jumble up the letters of your star sign. Don't say what it is, just jumble them up. And I want you to just go randomly through the letters. I'm just going to try and pick up on one or two, all right? I may get it wrong. You went over that. There's an R in there, isn't there? No. Okay, just keep moving it around. This might work better as imagine it as a picture. Might be a bit easier. All right. So you see one picture here. You might see another picture over here. I see two things. Does that make sense to you? You can say yes or no.
Yes.
Two things. This is not an animal, is it? Yeah, you're Pisces? No, it's Gemini, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, but that one's a bit easier. Is it? Yeah, because as soon as you went into picture, it's not. Well, it's easy because I know I'm
You
Gemini.
said there wasn't an R, and I told you it was Gemini.
Yeah, well, you said it was no, but you said there's not an R there. Mm-hmm. So does that mean you thought there was an R there?
No, I asked you. I just said there's not an R.
Yeah, but that's just the process of elimination. That one, I don't rate that one.
Didn't eliminate.
No,
many.
I don't think you won that on that one.
Okay,
I'll
think of my star sign and tell you there's no R. Which one is it?
You've done. And that's the end of the podcast. You're not coming on my show to embarrass me, mate. All good, brother. That was mad, man. Thank you so much.